So it's just really exciting to get back in market and actually start connecting with people again and having those conversations. So we've had a mixture of existing clients who've actually come and signed contracts on the stand for future business, meeting new clients, and people are just really excited to start talking again and start to be able to get balls rolling, which is great.
Hello, it's a pleasure to be joined by Tracy Halliwell, the Director for Tourism's Conventions and Major Events at London and Partners. Thank you for joining me and taking the time out of your busy schedule at IMEX America. I think we're just going to start off by asking, it must be great to be stateside again, going across the pond, and following the opening of the borders on the 8th of November. So what have been your objectives for London and Partners while being in Vegas, and how has the show worked for you, and have you been able to prepare properly considering the short kind of turnaround with the vaccinations and letting you come in and all the border regulations?
Well, number one, we're really excited to be here. I think it was very disappointing when we didn't think we were going to be able to come. We would have had a smaller presence. We would have used our US-based sales guy, Joshua, who's in market. So he would have come on his own. So he obviously is enormously pleased that we were able to come out. And we also managed to get 3 partners to join us who were keen to come. The US market is so key for London. We felt it was really important. If we could get here, we should. We've had full diaries. So between 4 of us actually that we've had on the stand, we've been busy literally from start to finish. People have got inquiries. So it's just really exciting to get back in market and actually start connecting with people again and having those conversations. So we've had a mixture of existing clients who've actually come and signed contracts on the stand for future business, meeting new clients, and people are just really excited to start talking again and start to be able to get balls rolling, which is great.
Great. So looking more specifically at London, how do you think how London has reinvented itself as a nice destination since the pandemic, and how did you kind of keep your team together during the lockdown?
Yeah, we very much went for a virtual London during lockdown. So we kept connecting with our audiences and our markets, and we were taking them on virtual fam trips. We were presenting content in a virtual format. So we were still keeping in touch with people. What's really exciting, I think, is during the lockdown, a lot of our partners and venues have taken the opportunity to either upgrade their facilities. So there's been a lot of refurbishments going on. We've had new product entering the marketplace. So some of it may have been delayed, but it actually has opened now. And I think sustainability has become a really big issue. I think a lot of people during the pandemic have sat and thought about how they can be greener and more sustainable. And London really is leading the charge on that. So I think, it's all about confidence building. It's telling people that they can come in and showing them what new product we've got, and how we can be more green and sustainable and hybrid as well. A lot of our venues have got hybrid ready. They're now ready for omni-channel. Broadband connectivity and everything has been enhanced. So I think we're out here saying that London is ever changing. We've learned a lot of lessons during the pandemic, and actually we've used that to our advantage to present some new product in market.
Yeah, and this follows on really nicely to my next question. And obviously this is the hot topic at the moment with COP26 going on, and the general approach after the pandemic, so thinking greener and build back stronger. Is there any specific locations or venues or hotels that you can think of and name that are really capitalizing on this kind of movement towards being green? And do you think that London's doing enough?
I think we have certainly done a lot, and our job at the moment is trying to wrap our hands around everything that all of our partners have done. So whether it be from plastic waste, a lot of our hotels have been very good at that over the years. Whether it's been establishing gardens and bees and growing vegetables on their rooftops, there's great examples of that. The Londoner new hotel that just opened has got some really great, excellent accreditation on the BREEAM methods, which is all about green and sustainability. And I think they use some green finance to actually build. So there's a wealth of things out there, and that's what we're just collecting together now. I think London overall probably leads in terms of public transport and hydrogen buses and undergrounds and all the things we're trying to do there. The mayor is very keen for us to reach all of the climate goals by 2050. So he's concentrating on air pollution, and the ULEZ zone, which has come in, is helping with all of that. So transportation, smart buildings, you're not allowed to build anything new in London now unless you reach the sustainability buildings initiatives. So I think everybody is getting behind it. We're also, we've got 400 and odd green tech companies actually are established in London. So we're very good at that circular economy, building exhibition stands out of recycled material, all of that thing. So, we're helping in terms of using London as a catalyst to work with other people around the world on how we can help them go greener and to tell our own story too.
Yeah, and I like you were saying there about the use of technology, specifically with sustainability. And from London being a leader in technology, being a tech hub, would you say then it's presumable that London is well placed to take advantage of the current trend towards hybrid events or fully virtual events?
Yeah, that was one of the things our venues and hotels did quite early on. So if they weren't already very well tech connected, they certainly became so. So again, a lot of examples of venues putting in green screens, getting updated with all of the technology available. So whatever happens in the future, whether hybrid, is or isn't a long-term tactic, London's ready, and there's so many venues, big and small, that now can cope. We're broadcast quality. I think, again, that creative and broadcast experience in London meant that a lot of our partners have been able to partner with professional companies to do this right as well.
Yeah, so do you think it's one of these things where you have to decide, do you have to predict if the world's going to go or the industry's going to go towards hybrid, or do you think you've just basically got to be prepared for whatever comes?
I think you need to be prepared. I don't think anybody knows quite how it's going to pan out. But I think what our venues and hotels have done is they've got ready for it. So whichever way it goes, I think London is going to be very well placed to take advantage of that in the future.
Okay. And just recently, London Partners has come up with some new stats and has showed that it's looking very positive for the return of events. And I think we reported on this earlier on today, saying that it was 231% increase in events in September. What do you think has contributed to these encouraging signs? And how do you see the way ahead for business events in the UK capital?
I think lifting of restrictions obviously has been the catalyst to start all of that. So now that people can meet without any restrictions on capacity or numbers, now the vaccination program is starting to kick in, people feel a lot more confident about getting out there. I think everybody is just bored of Zoom calls and Zoom meetings, and they really want to get out and do face-to-face. So what we've seen in London with the domestic market is that has really taken off with a vengeance. And as soon as international borders started opening, we saw it coming through from the other side as well. So there's a lot of really short lead, quite big meetings now happening, where I think companies are just at the last minute, they've got the confidence and say, yes, we can get all of our delegates to a certain place, so we're going to go and do it. And it's these, cross-border meetings of US teams with UK teams that want to get together face-to-face. So that's been happening slowly. And again, we've certainly seen here, there are inquiries. It's just that confidence building of people now knowing that they don't have to quarantine if they come to the UK. That's been a big border lifting activity. And they're now more willing to think about how they can get delegates into London. So I think that's just the start of it. That was from August to September. And I think as the year progresses, we'll see that getting, more and more prevalent of people feeling confident and having meetings.
Yeah, so do you think this is not just a kind of a sharp increase now? Do you think it's going to continue going forward? And do you think it's mostly down to the international aspect of travellers coming in, having more confidence with COVID, hopefully going more into the periphery now?
I think it's a little bit of both. I think we're coming up to the end of financial years for some companies, so they're getting some of those meetings in before the end of the year. International starting, I think it'll be fairly level now to the end of the year, but I think from next year it'll take off. I think people are just being being more cautious this side of Christmas, but my view is, and speaking to people here, that 22 is going to be a, start to return to normal levels. Maybe 60–70% of where we were in 2019, but it certainly seems to be on an upward trajectory, yes.
And just to kind of finish off, I mean, I think I've heard this question being asked many times before, so maybe you'll have an idea of what's going to go. What one thing do you think has changed during this pandemic that's really we're not going to go back to the old ways of doing it like that, and we're looking forward now, and it's completely different? What do you think that is?
I think overwhelmingly it's going to be that sustainability story. So people thinking twice about getting on an airplane. Are they traveling with purpose? Is there an absolute real reason to do this event, to do this meeting, to do this business trip? But I think that will also encourage us to be multifaceted in when we do travel. So you'll come to attend a meeting or an exhibition, but you'll do other things on the periphery more so than you did before. And I think business tourism in general will decrease overall. But I think meetings, maybe they'll increase, as people are spending more time working from home. I think companies will want to get together their workforces more. So I think you'll find more team builds and away days and things, might actually increase from where they were in the past.
Do you think this idea about having more regional events and kind of it's like a semi-hybrid, semi-in-person, where you, instead of getting everyone going to London, you have people, some people going to one specific smaller city, so you have loads of small events and them all linking up together?
Yeah, that's certainly happening now. We've got a lot of hybrid hubs happening. It is going to be an increasing cost in some cases. To get real hybrid connectivity is not cheap. So if companies want to do it, they're going to have to do it well. But I think there is something to be said about creating these hubs around the world. So that's where, chain hotels and things could come into their own, because you could have some great partnerships there. So yeah, I think that will be one trend. I think the bigger association style meetings, the bigger 1,000+, I think that's where you'll find hybrid will continue to grow, because you can bring in new audiences offline. So that's quite good for some of those bigger events. But yeah, I think the smaller events, possibly more regional, but I think you also are going to want to get all of your teams together, or all of your buyers together in one place. So a tough one to call, but I think it's going to be a bit of everything.
Brilliant. Well, I know that you've got a very busy schedule coming up with IMEX still going on. So thank you very much for joining us. I hope you enjoy your remaining time in Las Vegas. And I wish you a safe trip across the pond.
Lovely. Thanks very much.
Thank you very much.